Hey everybody, Justin the Diabetic. I do apologize. Things have been a little crazy at work. I didn't get a video to you guys after I promised one the next week about some cool work-related things. So I'm going to insert some little clips of that and some pictures right after this intro for you guys to look at. So let's dive into this week's video, give you guys an update with the Omnipod 5. I'm going on about 2 months now on the system. I have a couple changes in my normal everyday technology that I'm going to kind of talk over with you guys after I show you guys these little clips. And let's dive into this week's video. All right, so now after you guys got a little sneak peek at what I get to do every once in a while at work, I will say that that trip was fun. We flew from Amarillo to Pine Ridge, South Dakota to pick up somebody and then fly them back. So I got to be treated a little bit like a VIP and see what it's like to fly on one of our planes. So technology, let's dive into it. So right now, I hope the videos look a little better. I am using the iPhone 14 Pro now as my new phone, and I do have an Apple Watch Series 8. So I did have a quite little jump, especially in the Apple Watch department, and then now on the iPhone. So I went from a 12 Pro to the 14 Pro Max, and I went from a Series 4, I think, Apple Watch to the Series 8. So there is a slight improvement. I have noticed that if you are used to keeping your Dexcom information on the middle of your Apple Watch, for some reason, that is no longer available on the current iOS version. Maybe Dexcom will release an app update to where you can kind of see the graph. I do have my blood sugar reading here. It is available on some watch faces as long as you have like that little circle area. You can put that on there. So I do have it on that informational watch face, and then this other watch face. It's right here at the bottom. Sorry, it's upside down for y'all. I do get my blood sugar readings there. Those are my two, my everyday watch face, and then my more professional watch face. If I am going to do something and I want to look a little bit more professional, I'll go to the less information, kind of more official watch face there. No real differences in the iPhone 14 Pro Max that I can tell you. The Dexcom app works fine. It works fine when I got the phone. I did pre-order it. I will say I am impressed with Dexcom, that it was fully supported with the new iOS version as soon as it came out, unlike Medtronic, which took a few days longer. So for those of you that are on Dexcom or on Medtronic and you didn't really like the Medtronic took forever, Dexcom did roll that out without any issues. I've had a few little hiccups with the Omnipod. I had a error with the PDM that told me to change pod now. I didn't change my pod. I troubleshooted it for a second, and I just simply restarted the PDM, and that corrected the issue. So kind of a troubleshooting step if you want to try that there. I did get off of my diet for a while. My Omnipod did okay with my blood sugars. However, didn't necessarily like eating whatever I wanted to, and I burnt through my insulin rather quickly. So I've been trying to not necessarily be on my diet, but eat better, and I have been a lot more active. I've been exploring the area around me, a couple national parks. I can insert some pictures and some information here showing you a little bit of the Palo Duro Canyon, which is a Texas state park. It has a lot of trails. It's very pretty. I feel like it's very overlooked. It is about a 30-minute drive from my house to get to this state park and to look at this beautiful stuff and the wildlife that it shows. So I enjoy it. Me and a coworker have been to the canyon twice, and we hiked this same trail both times. The first time we didn't finish. We didn't give ourselves enough time, which we are trying to walk after work, so we have to kind of plan our work schedule around that. And today, when you guys see this video, we will be going back to do a different trail. My coworker is doing not necessarily a challenge. I'm trying to think of what they're called, but you can do virtual walks on it. You pay and you get postcards for your progress, and then at the end you get an award. I'll have to look into that. It goes off all the steps and activity that your phone records. She has an iPhone with an Apple Watch as well. And so far, she's doing the I forget what she's doing, but the challenge is to walk 480 miles in 90 days, I believe, or 80 something. So far, she's not quite in a month, and I'm assuming together we're about the same. She has walked a little bit more than me, but sometimes I'm more active in a day than she is. So roughly we're over 120, 150 miles. So we've made a pretty good dent in it the first month trying to walk together. She could be a little bit ahead of me, but we're just trying to be more active. So that is a cool little thing. I will gather more information for that and share it with you guys because I think it's cool, and I think once she finishes this one, we might do the next one together. They have things like Lord of the Rings. You can walk the different segments of Lord of the Rings. You can do the Grand Canyon. The smallest one is 20 miles, and the largest one is several thousand. So, it's pretty cool. I think it's an interesting way to kind of get people more active. At any point through the app, you can see where you are, like on a Google Street View, on your virtual walk. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm not sure how the Lord of the Rings and the fantasy stuff kind of works, but I think that's very interesting. What else do I got? I've had a few issues with the PDM app. I'm hoping that by the time Omnipod releases this on iOS, they've worked out all their kinks. I have not received any updates for this controller. I have received the first one, but not anymore since that one. And when I say there's been some updates, sometimes when I'll go to bolus, it'll say this value is expired. I'm not really sure why it's saying that. It's not like I tried to bolus and then waited. It just kind of is a thing. And sometimes it'll just, when you unlock it, will say Omnipod and completely reload like it did if you restarted it. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily an issue. I'm curious if that's the issues that some people have been experiencing with the Android app on their personal devices. I know that some people have been griping about the app that's been a little wonky with that. Other than that, I typically am not using this PDM, to be honest. I watch my blood sugars on my watch and my phone. I only use the PDM if I need to do a correction or to bolus for food. The Omnipod 5 does like it if you bolus earlier. That's something that I've been working on. As you guys can see, with my current blood sugar number at 76 after I did eat earlier, it's very content. I still have 0.7 units of active insulin, and my sugar's at 76. It's kind of going down just a little bit. Earlier it was at 80. But my graph has been relatively happy and steady, if you guys can see that there. And I'm happy with the progress. The biggest thing, and I can't exaggerate this enough for how I feel, it's like you feel naked with not having the tubed insulin pump anymore. I still to this day, after being tubeless for a few months now, think of, I gotta disconnect my pump before I take a shower, or I gotta look out for my pump before I change clothes, and this and that. And it's stuff that I guess she just didn't realize that you constantly looked out for. So that's interesting to me. I do calibrate my Dexcom on day one. I've noticed that sometimes it's a little higher than what my blood sugar actually is. So for example, this Dexcom that I am now, I'm currently on day 3, I believe. Day 1, I felt low and it was telling me my sugar was 80, and I was like, that's not accurate. So I checked it, my sugar was actually 60. So I calibrated it, quickly fixed it, and now we're almost spot on. So I think, a couple calibrations on day 1 or day 2, like one each, would help make accuracy more spot on. But as far as that goes, I don't really have any issues. My one complaint is this Dexcom app. I haven't figured it out yet after the latest update. It alerts, it seems like every 5 to 10 minutes that my sugar's high. I wish there was a way that I could just limit that to where it doesn't give me a high alert for 30 or 45 more minutes. I haven't quite figured it out, which I haven't really looked in the app too much. I have looked a little, but it's probably something that I could work through, or maybe not. But if anybody watches this that works for Dexcom, please, let's let that be a feature, because if I know my sugar's high, it's not going to get corrected in a 5 to 10 minute span. I wish that was the case, but unfortunately for us, it's not. So there's no point in this thing dinging at me constantly. So hopefully that's something that will be resolved in the near future. What else do I have for you guys? I think that's about it. Things have been going really well. My PDM, my battery life can go about 2 days. I did not charge it for 1 day for a while. I actually went out of town this past weekend and unplugged it at 4 a.m. on Saturday and did not charge it again until after lunch on Sunday. And when I plugged in, it had 20% left. So I think that's pretty good battery life. Definitely was not on the diet, was doing a lot of corrections with it during that time frame. So I'm pretty impressed with the battery life, to be honest. I know some people have had issues with the battery. I know there's been some issues with Omnipod support as far as getting replacement pods. I have not called them for replacement pods. If I've had a pod that falls off or has a malfunction, I really don't want to deal with it. Luckily, I have my doctor write a script for a few extra pods every order, so that kind of helps alleviate that. I don't have to stress about it. My insurance has decided they don't want to cover a 30-day supply of pods. They only cover a 20-day, and that's a little bit of a headache. But I am using the Walgreens Community Pharmacy. My pods do have to get shipped from Austin to Amarillo. The only downside is when I do the auto reorder, I have to then call them when they tell me my prescription's ready to have them shipped. I wish they would just put a note on the account to ship them, but hopefully I'll get them in a pharmacy here in town and I can just alleviate that. The good thing about them being shipped is once the prescription's filled and I tell them to ship them, they ship out the next day and they're next day over. So typically you can get them by lunch on the 3rd day, which is very beneficial for me. I do like that. I think that's it, guys. It's been a while. I'm trying to throw this quick video together. I'm going to try really hard to dedicate some time every day for you, or not every day, every week for you guys to get videos back out more constantly. If there are questions you want to know about the Omnipod 5, drop a comment down below and I will try very hard to respond as quickly as possible. And keep you guys informed. I'm going to try to also bring you guys along on some of my adventures, so that way you can just see, I try to do what I can and live my best life with diabetes, and you should too. You shouldn't let it limit you. I don't let it limit me, and hopefully we can realize that this disease isn't as miserable as we often think it is. I think there are some frustrating points, and I want to kick and scream and all of that other stuff, but it could be a lot worse, and I don't think we should limit ourselves with it. So if you need anything, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you like the video, and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys the next time. Have a good one. Bye.